something a moment ago. I have so many thoughts about this that I'm a little bit challenged to like contain all of them this morning. But what was I going to say? Well, here's what I want to point out. And then we're going to jump into the reading. How much do I want to set this up? Okay. All right. I'm going to set it up a lot. So logically, in the flow of the Torah reading that we've been doing, 2 weeks ago, we read about the revelation at Mount Sinai, big theophanic moments, human beings, God connect. It's incredible. And so the construction of the Mishkan comes 2 weeks, the beginning at least of this whole journey comes 2 weeks after that. At this point, as readers, we are invested in this story. We're like, great, we were with the Israelites as they left Egypt. We were with them at Mount Sinai. We are like on the edge of our seats waiting to hear what happens next. And then we get this, which is not the most edge of your seat compelling. We're missing narrative for quite a while until we get to the golden calf in 2 weeks, which is the most dramatic, maybe not the most, one of the most, perhaps the most dramatic moment in the Torah when the Israelites make this golden calf. So the juxtaposition of this, I don't want to say boring, nothing in the Torah is boring, but relatively low action parsha with the golden calf on other side and Mount Sinai is a little bit strange. And I think in some way what it does to us as readers is it leaves us straining to understand what is here, what is in this story that we can squeeze meaning out of. And so we read much closer than we would otherwise. We want to know, what are these cherubs, these kruvim that are sitting on top of the ark? What is the Torah even trying to tell us about the boards and the planks and the so-called dolphin skins that we're covering up? We have a lot of questions here. So did our rabbis, obviously, because they want to turn over everything. And Rashi has a theory that at first seems a little bit, the only word I can think of is whack, but like upside down, maybe strange, that the narrative in the Torah is not in chronological order. The events that happen didn't actually take place according to the order that the Torah gives them, which is, the rabbis actually say that a lot. They say, Ein mukdam u'me'achar b'Torah. There's no earlier late in the Torah. Sometimes things that happen here actually in reality happened later, so we can't learn chronology from it. And what Rashi proposes is, based on an earlier midrash, is that the building of the Mishkan happened, or was commanded rather, after the golden calf, even though in the Torah it's presented as before. Some of you have heard this theory before because I'm seeing nods. And in a way, it is like a tikkun for the golden calf. It is the way, it is Aviva Zornberg, the great Bible commentator, of today, says that the Mishkan is actually a therapeutic project, a way to restore what has been broken when the Israelites made the calf. And so the midrash that she draws on says, like the gold that was made to make the calf, let that same gold come and be adorning the ark, there it is, and let that gold atone for what was done with the golden calf. So if we read it like this, then there's a greater purpose to the whole thing. It's trying to create some kind of healing where before there was brokenness. And what I want to argue is this, and we'll see if I'm going to test a theory, essentially. My theory, and Aviva Zornberg's theory, is that the healing that's trying to take place, and I need the blueprint again, the healing is one of conversation. What the Israelites were trying to do in making the golden calf is to concretize and make God as tangible and felt as possible to them. But of course, you can't do that. We have a word for that. It's called idolatry. You can't do that. But the tikkun, or the repair that's happening here in the Mishkan, is that at the center of the entire structure, there is not an idol. there's physical stuff, but the center point, if you can see it, I don't know if you can see it, is right here. Here's the ark. I'm going to describe it for you so you can see. The ark has two poles on either side to carry it. And on top of the ark are these two kruvim, these two cherubs facing each other in dialogue, in confrontation, in holy confrontation. And it says, exactly between their faces is where I, God, will dwell. And so there's this charged space right there. And it strikes me when we were davening together this morning, I was thinking about the fact that at the center, at like the peak moments of our service, the liturgy too is saying is holy conversation. In the Kedusha, when we go back and forth, there's no single voice. It's a conversation between the Shaliach Tzibor, the prayer leader, and the people and God. There's this dialogue that's going on. When we take out the Torah, that's a peak moment. Everyone's standing. We have a leader here, but the leader is leading us in a dialogue. Shema Yisrael, Shema Yisrael. And then, of course, what we do here, and I think this is not unique to Or Chadash, but certainly really special, is that our Torah service is also not, I'm going to stop talking now, so it's not just me talking, it's a conversation. It's an actual dialogue between community to try to create that space for God to dwell. This is my theory. We're going to see if it bears out in what we read today. The part we're reading today is sadly not about the cherubs. That would have been last year, I think, but we're going to read about the curtains, and we're going to see in some way how the space is created for that sacred conversation to emerge. So let's see it in action. We are starting on Exodus chapter 26, verse 31, page 495 in your Chumash.